Hi, these are the answers for the tasks that I've set standard on assessprep, either for Friday the 6th or just for over the spring break. So yeah, these are just exam style questions. So you can have a little look at them, see how you got on. So let's go. So the first question is you just need to work out what the value of x is. So this one could be a little bit trial and error. So just try some. So 3 to the power of 5 will get you 243. Right, the next one, we are adding some surds together. Okay, so it gives you a bit of a clue here. We should be able to simplify this surd into root 2. So root 16 times root 2 is 32. The square root of 16 is 4. Ooh, didn't mean that 4. So root 2. So we know that when we're adding surds together, the surd has to be the same. So that means that B, we know is going to be 2. And then if we're adding 4 with a number to get 7, that has to be 3. So when you're adding surds together, it's just like if you add algebra together, you can only add them if it has the same variable. So 4 root 2 plus 3 root 2 is 7 root 2. So in this question, A is going to be 3 and B is going to be 2. Right, this question is just testing your laws of indices. So we don't need this times. So I'm going to split this up. So we should know when we have a denominator that we can write that. And we can bring the denominator up if we just put it to the negative power. So the first fraction I can write is 2 times by 5 to the negative 1. And then the second fraction, we know that 25 is 5 squared. So times by 5 squared. 4 is 2 squared, but to bring that up, it's got to be a negative 2. Okay, so that's the first thing we have to do is make sure we get our bases as 2 and 5. And then we just add the powers together. So 2 to the power of 1 times by 2 to the negative 1, you add the powers. So that's going to be 2 to the negative 1. And then negative 1 plus 2 is going to give you a positive 1. So D is negative 1 and E is positive 1. Okay, so nice, easy few marks. Right, the next question says, Beth and Holly go to the shop for some stationery. Holly bought 2 pens and 3 pencils for $4. So we've got, in this equation over here, 2x plus 3y is 4. So pen is x, pencil is y. And then Beth bought 5, which you can see the 5x, and 1y, which is 615. So the first question just says, okay, find the missing values, which is done. Now we're going to use these to actually solve what x and y is. So in this question, what am I going to make the same? Let's make the y's the same. So I'm going to multiply the bottom equation by 3. So the top stays the same. So 2x plus 3y equals 4. And the bottom is going to become 15x plus 3y equals 18.45. Okay, so now that we have the y's the same, I'm going to subtract the two fractions. So 15x subtract 2x is 13x. Y minus positive y would be 0, so they cancel out. And then 18 point, don't know why I wrote it like that. Shouldn't really have the 2 points in. Let's get rid of that. 18.45. Minus 4 is going to be 14.45. So if we divide both sides by 13 to get what x is, which x stands for pens, to 2 decimal places is $1.11. So then to work out what y is, you can substitute it back into any of these. So I'm just going to pick the 5 times 1.11 plus y is 6.15. So if we times that by 5, we get 5.55. So if we subtract that from 6.15, we get 0.6, and that was for the pencils. Right, the next question, a little bit tricky this one, it's about probability. We've got a Venn diagram and it says 125 students pick subjects. They are going to pick either Spanish, French, some do both, and we have this Venn diagram here. Right, it says in the Venn diagram, A represents the number of female students and B represents the number of students who do Spanish. Write down the number of students who choose Spanish. So Spanish is just for B. So it's 18 plus 27. Ooh. So it's 45 students do Spanish. Right, then over here it says we're going to talk about some of the males. So I'm going to use a Venn diagram to help me with this one. Right, so male students, we've got Spanish and we've got French. It says 7 do both. It says 22 pick neither. And the question wants to know if one's picked at random, how many only do Spanish? So we're looking for this part of the Venn diagram. So the first thing I need to do is work out how many males I have. Well, in the first diagram, we know how many females we have because it's the blue Venn diagram. So 43 and 18 is going to give me 61. So because there's 125 students, take away 61, that means we have 64 males. So in this Venn diagram, I am talking about 64, it's 64 males in total, okay? Then it says that this was talking about the number of Spanish. So in this Venn diagram, 18 students who done Spanish were female. So that means 27 were male. So in the Venn diagram, there's already 7 in the Spanish section. So that means I need to put 20 here because there's 27 males that do Spanish. So now I need to subtract 27 and 22 from 64. So if we do that, you're going to be left with 15. Double check it. 20 plus 7 plus 15 plus 22 will get you 64. So that means 15 boys will pick just French out of 64 boys. Okay? Because they're only picking out of male students. The last one, write down the number of male students who did not pick Spanish. Well, you've got 15 inside who just do the French, and you've got 22 on the outside, so that is 67 students. Right, the next question then, we have a triangle and it tells us the area of a triangle. So on the formula page, which you'll find at the top, we know that's going to be a half base times height. We have the base and the height in terms of x. So the question for 4 marks wants us to find that. So that means a half base times height. Okay, so in this question, I need to times 10x by x plus 2. And then whatever that is, I need to basically half it. And that will equal 40 centimeters squared. Okay, so I'm going to expand the bracket. So I'm going to be left with 10x squared plus 20x all over 2 is 40. So if we divide it by 2, I get 5x squared plus 10x. I'm going to bring this 40 over 2. Minus 40 is 0. Because I have a quadratic, I know that to solve it, I need to make it equal 0. Because this is quite special, everything is divisible by 5. I'm going to divide it by 5. And it becomes x squared plus 2x minus 8 is 0. In this question, you can use the quadratic formula, or we can factorize. We can factorize in this question. So 2 numbers that times to give you negative 8, but add to give you 2. We're going to have positive 4, negative 2. If they have to equal 0, that means x is minus 4 or x is 2. So because we're talking about the sides of a triangle, in this question, x can only be 2. And then just for 1 mark, what is the base and the height? Well, the base is x plus 2. So 2 plus 2 is 4. The height is 10x, so 10 times 2, so that's going to be 20. And they are centimetres. Right, the last question then, I've only done the first part. It's just sequences. So we have a sequence at the top. It's given us just looking at the red squares in the diagram. It gave us a table. So if you carry on predicting, this is 9, this is 11. Describe 2 patterns that we notice. Well, we've got odd numbers. That could be 1. You could say that it increases by 2 each time, because it's +2, +2, +2. And you can also say that it's an arithmetic sequence. Yeah, because the difference is the same each time. Write down in the simplest form the general rule for R. Well, we know that the difference each time is going up in 2s, which is 2n. You can either work out the difference between 2 and the first term, which is -1, or you can just do the reverse of what the difference is, and that will get you -1 too. Let's verify our answer. If it's verify, you're putting 5 and 6 in. So I'm just going to put 5 in. So in this question, we're going to have R equals 2 times 5 minus 1. So that's going to be 9. And you have to say that this matches your prediction in the table. This matches your prediction in the table. Therefore, it is verified. Okay? And that's all I asked you to do for this lesson.